Selamun Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah. There is a problem. How can I get out of this problem? No. Oh. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi şrahli sadri ve yessirli emri ve hlul ukdeten min lisani yefkahu kavli ve cealli veziran min ehli Harun ahi üştüd bihi ezri ve eşriku fi emri كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم الحمد لله رب العالمين آمين. We are going to study the section of the story of Yusuf in the Quran, which is difficult to grasp the meaning, exactly what it means to us in practical terms now. I found it difficult because one aspect of the verse 93, which is not here. Let me see. Yeah. Well, 93 looks like a miracle, which is possible and maybe at the same time. But since we study the miracle narrations in the Quran in order to get some kind of guidance for me to put into my practical life. So miracles, I'm not going to perform miracles here. I'm not going to ask Allah to give me miracles. But from one side, it is not directly related to me, but I hear the news from the Quran that Quran tells us God gives miracles to his messengers in order to confirm their prophethood, messengership, as Allah employed them. So Allah is presenting this miracle by changing or operating on the order of the universe in another way, which is not accustomed by the people of that time, so that they will understand that this person who claims to be the messenger of Allah, God, employed by God, so they will have confidence in his claim to be the messenger of God, and that they will take him seriously. Otherwise, believing in the messengers doesn't make you a believer in God, believer in the hereafter, etc. Doesn't help much apart from taking the message seriously, knowing that somehow what is created out there, witnessed by you, the person who is present with the prophet, at that time, although I haven't witnessed it, but we hear the news from the Quran. When these people take it seriously, they have to pay attention to the content of the message and see whether they confirm it or not. They cannot imitate the message because somebody else performed the miracle. So seeing the miracle doesn't make me feel confident in my belief in the hereafter, in my belief, in the angels. But since the prophet says so, it doesn't mean that I believe in the fact that God speaks. It needs another base. That's why miracles are invitation to take and pay attention, to take seriously and pay attention to the teachings of the prophets. Now I'm not seeing the miracles. I'm not going to experience this life again, this miracle again in my life. So I will generalize it that God, of course, the creator of the universe, can change its order, which is established by him. He is the owner of the universe. If I understood that the universe has an absolute qualities of a being who is the creator of the universe. Yeah, I believe, I confirm it, but it doesn't give me any help. It doesn't help me in order to understand the reality of my life and how am I going to benefit from it. So I'm only hearing the news. I'm not experiencing the event. And I can approach miracles as really historically taken place. That is correct. Must be. It is possible. Why not? I have no reason to deny that the creator cannot change its order. Otherwise, it would be an understanding, strange understanding, that creator of the universe is bound but by what he has created. It means he cannot be the absolute being there. If someone is not the absolute being, how can he be the creator of the universe? Or I can create anything. In order to create something which did not exist before, one has to have absolute qualities. It means nothing to do with this universe, completely different nature in its existence. We understand this. And that's what we have to be sure that when we narrate the stories or narrations of the miracles of the prophets, we have to know what we are doing, for what purpose we are narrating it. Another side is, after taking that is one option. Another option, and both of them, or three options, I can offer you, I have in my mind to share with you. These three options are valid at the same time. It doesn't really exclude each other, but yes, from one aspect, miracle narrations must have taken place, possible in it is time of the prophet. But at the same time, Quran just doesn't give the news so that it has nothing to do with me now. If I say, yeah, Prophet Yusuf received miracle or performed miracle of the shirt, that the shirt will be put on the face of his father and his eyes recover his sight. It's a miracle, physically thinking about it. But at the same time, after taking the message seriously, the message of the prophet seriously, what happens? I understand that everything is created by an absolute being, and everything in its existence is a miracle of this absolute creator. That is the second option. We have yet another option, which is the third option that we are going to concentrate on because it is directly related to my practical life. The second is also directly related to my life because I have to regard everything in its existence that takes place miraculously. So I have to treat them as miracles of the Creator. Now, not of the kind that is related to Prophet's life, but now it is related to my practical life, so that I will take it as related to me, then regard everything as a miracle presented to me by the Creator introducing himself to me, that he is an absolute being. So I have to treat the universe accordingly. I have to establish my relationship with my Creator accordingly. That is also practical. The third option is, let us interpret it, ta'wil. How? Look, putting the shirt on the face of a person, his eyes open and start seeing, and he will have sight before he did it. Okay, there is no need to go into these stories of, something happened on his eyes really covered with something maybe called cataract nowadays. That's why, or he was crying so that he became blind. There is no news of it in the Quran. So we should not take it seriously. We don't know whether this is just a story made up or narrated from the Israeliyat, the rabbinic interpretation of the same event mentioned in Torah, in a different, slightly different, but somehow, generally, if you say Prophet Joseph, a Jew who studied the Torah definitely will know him. So we don't take this side, which is not mentioned in the Quran. Actually, not only related to the story of Yusuf, all the stories of the prophets, and also some interpretations of the event, which are not mentioned in the Quran, but can be found in rabbinic interpretations, the Talmudic studies, they say. These Talmudic studies of Jewish scholars, we should not take it seriously because we are not sure whether it is really the original Torah teaching or it is mostly interpretations of the people. But the interpretation of the people, because Torah is in the course of time turned into the story of or history of the children of Israel. So we don't know whether it is the story of children of Israel or which is Jacob, actually. Another name of Jacob is Israel. So children of Israel, as it is known in the narrations of the books, definitely Torah, or in its original form, must be correct as well. So in its original form, there must be a reference to the prophet Joseph, Yaakov. So we are careful not to complete the story, make it sound somehow dramatic. We don't know whether he was crying, that's why his eyes became blind, and there is no such thing. He was, in a sorrow. It is mentioned in the Quran, of course, and but we don't know it is due to this sorrow or something else. But we know that the term of qurrata ayn is mentioned in the Quran, not related specifically to Prophet Joseph. No, Prophet what I would say, Job. I was going to say Job, his father. No, not Job. Come on. Jacob, Joseph. Correct. Oh, what's going on to my mind?
Jacob.
So Joseph, yeah. Oh, no. Jacob. So something is wrong, but I couldn't really. Jacob. Yeah. Thank you very much, whoever corrected me. And okay, Prophet Jacob. Okay, you know the story better than I do. I don't pay attention to the story side of the narrations. I go into the meaning of the words, construction of the words, and whatever morphology of the words, etc. So, okay, Jacob. The Quran talks about Qurrata Ayn, or Qurrata Ayn, happiness, pleasure, if it is not misunderstood, being proud of somebody or something happened. For example, mostly it is related to the children and parents' relationship, so that if the parents are happy with their children and knowing that or seeing that their children are doing great, not in worldly sense nowadays, oh, my son, my daughter is a doctor, my son is an engineer, I'm very happy. This is just trash, temporary thing. How much your son or your daughter are relating to their creator while they are living in this world. That is the point. How successful they are in the worship of Allah, God. That is the means of Qurrat Ayn, so that your eyes are bright, happy. Oh, no, you are not really distressed and saying, my son, oh man, don't ask me, please. But if he is very successful in his worship of Allah, acknowledgement of Allah, your son, oh yeah, so that your eyes is bright, happy. So we understand that the prophet Jacob has gained his eyesight. It means he was, as soon as he learned that his son is alive, the news represented by the shirt, because the shirt of Yusuf, is the symbol of Yusuf's alive. Or they can present any shirt that this is Yusuf's shirt. How can he know? But if you say, no, he knows the Yusuf's shirt when he was young. But, you know, as the narration in the Quran mentions, his shirt was blooded and he was a very small child this time. Now he's a grown-up. He's a grown-up adult. So he wouldn't be able to see the shirt, to recognize the shirt of Joseph. We understand that the Quran uses the shirt in 3 occasions. One is this. The other one is, you know, that Aziz's wife, also tested by the shirt, were torn behind from the front, of what it had the significant meaning, which needs to be interpreted in this context. And another shirt that the brothers brought, the shirt blooded, as a witness, the false evidence that an animal or a fox or whatever uh, ripped, has eaten the baby, and the shirt is, no, not the baby, the child, the shirt is remained. One of them used as a false evidence, the other one used as a criterion of right or wrong. In the case of wife of the Aziz, the third one is used as a symbol of good news, aliveness, success, qurrata ayn. So we understand in three contexts, the shirt is used metaphorically, not necessarily physically. I hope I could convey this message, because the shirt is not really the shirt. What represents something as a means of conveying the message of the Quran. I think you've got it now. I think it is clear. If it's not clear, it's very important. Important at least to learn how we should read the Quran. If the Quran says shirt, oh, it is shirt, really, the shirt I'm wearing or you are wearing now. No, it may be something else. Open up your mind. Don't confine yourself to a certain understanding of physical shirt. What is the significance of a physical shirt in the life of a prophet, which is narrated by God to me, and I will get guidance from it? Which, oh, this is my shirt. If something happens to my son or my children, so if someone brings their shirt, then I will be happy. No, it is the good news that secures the existence, life of Joseph, so that Father Jacob, as soon as he read the qurrata ayni, you see what I mean? That is what I wanted to see, to hear, that he is alive, he is successful, he is an honest person who is really doing a very important mission on earth, helping people, and alongside with helping people physically, financially, but also spreading the message to them. Especially the brothers realized and admitted. Brothers represented what? Pure ego. So pure ego submitted to the message of the prophet and admitted that it was wrong. Ego declared it is mistake, confessed it is wrong, it is mistake, it is being wrong always. And that is what? The success of the prophetic message. So seeing that his Jacob's other children admitted their mistake, hearing this news. And this is a proof that for Jacob, Yusuf is really being a successful messenger of God. Though his eyes became so bright, full of expression of pleasure, who doesn't have the pleasure of hearing that his children are very successful in real sense, not in materialistic sense? You know, he became a, let's say, CEO of something, whatever they call it, CEO of a big company. It's a, we don't know, it may be a means of corruption. It may help people become more and more consumers. It may be harmful for the other human beings. The company is producing something which is just unnecessary, which may be used for bad purposes. You never know. My son, my daughter is a doctor now. Okay, we don't know whether she is, or let's say she is helping other people in health. That is good of her. But the people are gaining their health. What are they doing with their healthy life? Maybe they may be doing something wrong with their healthy life. Not necessarily that it is a success, depending on the situations. So we cannot have a qurratu ayn, which is the Quranic word I really love. Most of the time I love reciting this. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين. So please, my wives, but my life partners, let's call it, but it's not a bad word. It is not a good word nowadays, life partners. My spouses and my children, a means of qurratai, so that they will be leading the human beings in the right path. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. So leaders of the muttaqi, the forerunners of the people who have a muttaqi life. Now, the prophet Jacob, what did he do? Against the transgressions or arrogance, wrong attitude of his children, did he really get angry with the children? There is no sign of it, but in the Quranic teaching, there is a sign of unhappiness with what their children are doing. It means he was not happy with the attitude of egoistic tendencies. Was he angry with them? No, because this is God created ego in me. Why should I be angry with what has created? Just only be careful not to follow it while I am practicing my free will. But they were representing, the children were representing ego, which we don't like following it. We are not happy to follow our egoistic tendencies. Okay. What did he do? He just laid his trust in God and asked God to save his son and give success to his son. His attitude was only related to God in the form of prayer. Oh, we noticed that in this story, there is something hidden, message hidden in his story, in this story. What is that? If you keep praying, God responds. Jacob never lost his faith, his hope from God's mercy, from God's protection. He always prayed, we understand, because if you don't lose your prayer, your hope with the Creator, what do? Inevitably, you cannot do anything physically because it is God who is going to do it because the case is beyond your reach. Rather than getting angry, disappointed, on the contrary, just keep your hope alive and express your need, whatever you have in your feelings, to God, which is called prayer. That is why we understand that prayer is very important for us. Prayer is very important. That's what I wanted to jump to the verses which mentioned about the nature of prayers. And let me see this one here. Okay. Let's see how Allah speaks to us and how we should have a relationship with our Creator, so that our expectations, our hopes will be realized. So, ud'u rabbakum tadarru'an wa khufyatan innahu la yuhibbul mu'tadin. Call upon your Lord humbly. Tadarru'. Tadarru' is more than humbly. Tadarru' begging, in a begging position. Please, definitely, I need this. Please, God, accept it. Accept it from your heart, from your spirit. Yeah, not humbly, yes. I mean, I'm not saying there is a, but in a begging position is much better. Not like this. Please give me $1. No. I am dying. Please give me one loaf of bread or something to eat. That is tadarru'. وَخُفْيَةً khafi, secret, in secrecy of your heart. It's translated that khufya, the secrecy of your hearts, which is better now, very, very good now. But humbly is not enough to express the intense meaning of tadarru'. So, innahu la yuhibbul mu'tadin, he doesn't allow those who transgress the limits of what is right. Now, we have to concentrate on the first part of the verse now. First of all, if we need something really, we have to feel it. We have to feel that we are desperate to have it. That is the utmost level of recognition, acknowledgement of one's neediness. So if you ask God, please, Allah, put me in paradise and give my children the best life. Okay. That's a prayer, yeah. That is not for nothing. But the Quran describes dua. It means calling God. Please, God, come to my aid. Come to my help. Please. That is called in Arabic, dua. Ud'u rabbakum. Make dua. Call God. But in a prayer form. So not the prayer that we call salat. That's something, it is something like really supplication. Exhorting yourself to get the result by admitting your utmost neediness, whatever the subject is, whatever the subject you feel needy. So supplicate God, really تضرعا وخفية. First of all, there is no need to shout, but you have to feel this desperate need within your own heart, within your own feelings. You are burning of the need. That is what prayers should be performed. And we have to have the connection with our Creator God. This is from chapter Araf 55. Another verse, again, similar to it, slightly different, from, again, chapter Araf, verse 205. وَذْكُرْ رَبِّكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ. Now it is, خُفْيَةً is explained here. Secretly in your heart, it means فِي نَفْسِكَ here. Within your own inner world. تَضَرُّعًا, the same word again. In all humility, it is translated in this way, but we said it is in a desperately needing and crying and begging. That's what it means roughly. وَخِيفَةً. Not khufya comes from khafa. Khifa comes from khafa. So these are different words. So if we are not aware of this difference, we may say, they are the same word. No. One of them is khafa. The other one is khafa. The different meanings. One of them is secretly, khafiyan, secretly. The other one is, again, khifatan. What is that? Let's read the translation. And it means, fear. Fear means here, I'm afraid of God or something. No. You know that. I know that. Let me speak on my behalf. I know that I don't deserve to be taken seriously because I'm not really performing my duties in this world in the way that it fits the status of the Creator who is absolute. So I may say, no, I don't deserve to be, or my prayer, my supplication doesn't deserve to be accepted, so it may rightly be rejected because I am not giving due value of the prayer because I'm speaking to the Creator of the universe. Can you imagine? Even if we are called by our boss, an ordinary man, maybe not even the top man, one person that I'm reporting to called to his office, and I said, let me get ready. And why did he call me? This fear is with us. Why? Then I may be in a trouble. So that is how we understand that khifa. In relation to our meeting with the Creator is, can you imagine being called by your boss? How serious it is. At the worst, you can lose the job and get another one. Or may not get it. What happens? So your body suffers. We are not, your spirit suffers. What matters is if your spirit suffers, because it is eternal. Your body is temporary. Of course, we don't want it, but at the same time, compared to the suffering of the spirit, body's spirit is almost nothing, really, in comparison. it doesn't mean that we can suffer bodily. It doesn't matter. No, no, no. Don't misunderstand. No, I don't think you do. But we have to be careful when we make the comparison. Is different from the talking about bodily security. Yeah, it is our duty to do that. So my relationship with my creator may not be as appropriate according to his status